What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bear Rats and Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gage. This is episode 92 on the boat, season 3, in my happy place, in the heat, in the sunshine, on the water, on the boat. It doesn't get any better than this. Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys. This episode is brought to you in part by Cito Huntington. Are you a member? Visit Cito.com and join today. And J&M Seafood of East Northport and East Setauket for all your seafood needs. Head over to J&M Seafood. Guys, the dolphin came through. Fishing sucks. Where are the bass? We got good news on the bluefish. Stick around. We got some good news for you. The tuna bite. Corey headed out on Friday. They said they had some rough conditions out there Friday. Out to about 30, 35 miles. They wound up coming back in, but guys that stuck it out and got out to the 60-mile mark did get on some bluefin, did get on fish. The conditions calmed down a little bit out there when they got out to the 60-mile mark. And yeah, so from Brandon to Captain Dave and the East End Anglers and a whole bunch of guys that we're friends with, guys are catching the tuna, especially Tuna Tom, who promised me a tuna trip. But the good news is we are going to put the Hydra. We're going to go chase tuna on the Hydra yacht. We are putting this in the water on the South Shore and heading out and hoping to show you guys a tuna on the Hydra yacht. That is our goal this summer. We're sticking to it, and it's going to happen very shortly. So we'll bring it to you. If I can, with Starlink or any of the fun stuff that we have, we'll try to go live if we can. If not, you know I am going to record what's going on out there for sure. And excited to do so. So, that's coming up. But yeah, so guys in the fishing club did hook into some bluefish in the back bays, and they weren't little cocktails. They were decent-sized blues. They weren't big gators, but they were the fun ones to catch, blowing up on bait, and that was great to hear. So yesterday, me and my son went out into our normal fishing grounds. I didn't head into the back bays based on tide and whatnot. And we got out into the Sound, and there was a ton of bait in the water, but you had no birds working. You had no marks on the screen in the normal areas. And since the dolphin came through, I haven't seen that really improve. So what did that affect? Plus, the water temperature was up like 4 degrees. It's up to 75 in the high 75, so it's the water temperature heated up. It's August. This is what we expect. Now it's time to take the kids tubing and get in the water and enjoy it. And that's what's happening the next few days here. So we're excited about that. But the fishing in our area right now, everybody's complaining. Everybody. I even got a call yesterday. One of the guys I saw out there, I captained his boat, put him and his buddy on some bass on his own boat. Beautiful boat. And he called me and left me a voicemail saying, we got nothing, we see nothing. And something bit us off on the bottom, and he thought it was a fluke. So it was typical. That's what we heard. And there were, it was a handful of boats out yesterday. There were not a lot of boats. The water, it was like glass out there. And I always say, when the conditions are very, very flat and calm like that, the fishing usually is not that good. The fish do like moving current. They do like when it's ripping. And we stuck around. We saw two sides of the tide. And we didn't mark anything. And we did look everywhere. Everywhere we normally look that we have it saved on our screen where we find them, and we added waypoints and we know where they hang out, we find them, we didn't see them. So, listen, they're fish, it's fishing, they move, and you have to go look for them, no doubt about it. And I did mark really nice marks in the back bay. Okay, so I will share that with you. We went into the back bays. We did mark some really nice fish. I was not on this boat when I was marking them. I was working on the commercial towboat, which has awesome brand new sonar on it. And I saw some really nice marks. So I know where they are. But we were looking to see what we could get into out where we usually go with our clients and look for them on those fishing grounds. And we can honestly say there's not much doing out there. You know what I mean? So we'll stick it out. We'll see what we can catch. But Corey and I do plan on heading out into the Atlantic Ocean on the Hydro Yacht to get onto some tuna in the next 10 days. Plus, you also have the Hampton Shootout coming up. So guys are excited about that. We've been invited on a boat to attend that tournament this year. Hopefully the conditions hold up and the invite stands and we get out there. So we will keep you posted. Other than that, few rain clouds passing by. This is the time of the year where you may not see any rain forecasted, but you may see some dark clouds roll through because it's, it's getting into August. Kids go back to school in a month. Wait till that traffic kicks in. That's always fun. And just keep an eye on the weather. Don't get caught out in these storms. I got caught out there last year in a storm in August that I tried to beat. I tried to get ahead of it, and that's when I learned that lightning is 30 miles ahead of the storm and behind the storm. So just pass that on to you. Don't try to race and beat the storm. Get in and secure your boat and get off the boat and get off the water. That's my advice. And let's talk about advice. All right, so how many times have you heard me tell you to know your boat, know your seacock, know where your seacock is? I get out to this really nice gentleman. And thank God he broke down where he did. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is it might help some people out there start to look into their boat a little bit more and really dial in and learn some things. Because what this one captain said to me, I pulled up to the boat. It was disabled. And I see the bilges working full force. From the moment I put my boat in neutral a little further away to come up close to him and not throw a wake at him, I'm watching the bilge. And I'm just like, why's he got so much water on the boat? Like, why? And I hook up to them. I told them back to the ramp. They go back to the stacks. Tie them up to the dock. And on the way back in, I was trying to diagnose where why the bilge was kicking out water. And I'm asking about the live well and the seacock and, the drain plug and certain things. So here's what I learned on the way back to the ramp. The boat doesn't have a drain plug. It doesn't need a drain plug. Now, did I see this boat out of the water and look and see? No. So the boat doesn't need a drain plug. So that right there, that's a red flag for me. That's an alarm, okay? Because why does your center console not need a drain plug? Secondly, I asked about the live well and the intake and the pump. And do you know where the seacock is? Can you shut the seacock valve? And the seacock valve was on the back of the transom, all corroded and doesn't turn and doesn't move and was broken. Red flag, alarm goes off. Okay. There's a few things here that aren't right and aren't the way they should be for a normal, everyday center console. Okay, so ties up to the ramp, and I ask him to open the hatch. And he opens the hatch, and everything is underwater. Batteries, we're talking 2 feet. The entire boat was filled with water. And he said this to me when we towed him in, that there was water up in the, in the compartment on the boat. And this was why he was disabled. All right. Now, he didn't tow the boat down from land, from Bayshore, where he was going home to. He didn't tow it back down to the ramp with water in it. He put it in the water, parked his trailer, got on the boat, got out, and the boat shut off. And in that time, it took on so much water that I honestly said to him, I believe that I saved you from swimming today. That if you would have gotten out any further, what would have happened? And I didn't ask if they could swim. I hope they had life jackets. I'm not the Coast Guard, but you want to help people understand why we have all these things and why we need them. So there was a lot of water on the boat. Enough for me to go, holy shit, I saved your life today. This could have been really, really bad. 100%. And my advice to him now is Don't just put this on your trailer and drive it home. Because you got so much water on the boat that your trailer is not capable of handling all this extra weight and driving it with the truck, the car. I don't care if you got a Mack truck, whatever you got. I didn't even look and see. I didn't stick around to watch the towing process of him pulling the trailer out. But I did say, hey, leave it on the ramp here on the angle and let this water run out. His bilge stopped working by the time I got back to the dock. It was not working anymore. That was it. I think batteries, everything that was underwater just completely died. And so now, I wasn't sticking around to wait for the drain plugs and all that fun stuff. I did my job. Got to go. And thank God that he got back to the dock okay and everybody's okay. That's really, at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. But hopefully somebody out there can hear this and say, holy shit, don't tell me your boat doesn't have a drain plug. I mean, that's just far-fetched for me to believe. I don't care what brand it is. I mean, I don't know all the brands, and I don't know all the boats. And that's why I got to believe half of what you tell me, and take it, with a grain of salt and say, who knows? Maybe. But I didn't stick around to find out and say, that's where your drain plug goes. This is why you took on all the water. I didn't stick around for that part. Sorry. So I got, 3/4 of the story for you. Anyway, get to know your boat. Get to know everything about it. An oil alarm goes off. Where do you put oil in your boat? Where do you, do you ever check the oil? All these things. There's so many little things, that people, I guess, they just take for granted when they get on their boat and go out. And, we try to avoid that. We try to educate people. That's why when you join the Bay Rats and Buoys Fishing Club, one of the things that it says down below there in the 5 descriptions of, things that we do in the club, it says learn and grow. And that's the whole idea behind the club. Like Pat just reached out to me and told me, hey, fishing sucks. What's the report? What's going on? And no, I said, you're absolutely right. Fishing sucks right now. And, that's how we knew about the bluefish. Thanks to Peter in the club. And, when you join the club and you share intel and you're happy to share it with guys that are just as passionate about fishing as you, it helps everybody. It's just how it is. So the camaraderie there is awesome. We love the guys in the club. They're absolutely awesome. We're always looking to grow the club. People are signing up every week. Every week we get new members of the club that I add to the chat group and say, hey, welcome so-and-so. This week it was Michael. And, people are signing up on a weekly basis, and the club is growing, which is absolutely awesome. It's what we want. And we'd like to see it really grow and become something big and fun and, where we could do tie-ups and tournaments and challenge other clubs, which we did do all season in the beginning. And it's just tough to coordinate with these other clubs, I'll tell you that. So, doesn't mean we gave up. A lot of people, big questions about the Bluefish tournament that are coming up, And I was explaining to somebody in my office because they came over. They said, hey, I heard on the radio about a Bluefish tournament. Do you know anything about this? And I was like, yeah, I know everything about it. Which one? And he didn't know which one. So I said, here, I know which one because they're associated with the radio station, with Walk FM. And it's the WIC tournament. So, you got the WIC, you got the Oyster Bay, and I think you have the Huntington Yacht Club. I think those 3 places have Bluefish tournaments coming up. If they haven't had any already, I don't know. I don't know the dates. I don't know the times. All I know is that they are in August. And, last month in the Fishing League, we were going to do Bluefish. July was going to be Bluefish. But because we didn't see any, we turned that month into Wild Card Month, where you submit a bass, a bluefish, a black sea bass, a fluke, and a porgy. And you could submit one of each of those species to gain points on the leaderboard. And believe it or not, there were probably about 12 to 15 people that submitted snappers as bluefish. I'm talking 6 to 15. Some people had some cocktails, had some cocktail blues that they had landed in the club. And, because there's different regions, too. So you have the Long Island, you have the North Shore, you have the South Shore, and then you have Jersey. So within those 3 regions, people are catching, everything. It's just because we don't see bluefish here doesn't mean there are no bluefish everywhere. They just didn't, the yellow-eyed demons didn't make their way in to our area. But they have. They're here. And And I was telling him in the tournament, the guy in my office, that every year it's the 20 people on the leaderboard for the WIC. It's like 19 of them, 18 or 19 of the 20 are from the Connecticut side, and then you have the 1 or 2 people that are from the Peconic, way out east, and catching blues that are worthy of winning the tournament because the guy won 2 years out of the last 3. I think it's the same person that won the tournament. You can go back and check the leaderboards yourself and verify and see who it is and what year it is. But if I'm not mistaken, so again, I'm just working off of memory, which at my age, I don't know if you want to trust memory. Look, I remember my kids' names and the dog. I'm not doing what my father did because my father would go through the whole list of the family. And I'm sure you guys have parents that did that wanted to yell at you and said everybody's name in the family before they got to your name. And, in their fit of rage and the shit and the chaos that we caused and all that crap, I don't have that problem yet. I know who I'm yelling at, and I know their name. And I can say their first, middle, and last name with no problem. But as far as remembering strangers' names in a tournament from years ago, in a tournament I wasn't in and had nothing to do with, no. It's a good luck. But that's it, Dark clouds passing by. I just got hit with a little rain cloud that came over here. A little drizzle happened prior to setting up. And water temp 75, so I'm going to take the kids tubing. It's time to, we whipped out the tubes. We inflated them. Everything's good. Check the bridle. Got a good bridle. And life jackets and a spotter. That's it. We'll get out there. We'll have some fun and do some different water activities on the boat, which we're excited to do. Very excited. Can't wait. And that's it. Keeping them short these past couple episodes. They're going to be a little shorter. All right? I'm not going to sit out here for a half an hour to 45 minutes dying in the sun to talk about fishing that absolutely sucks right now. And, we say that July was red hot. July was absolutely insane. Every trip in July landed. 7-year-old kids were landing trophy bass. And that was awesome. It really was. And we're going to have to get out there at nighttime and see what we're marking and what we're seeing and really start doing a little bit of everything, which me and Corey love doing. And we have friends that love to come on the boat and sit out there in the sound and at 1 o'clock in the morning. You get out there at 10 o'clock and you can fish from 10 to 2. And it's like being on another planet out there. It really is so cool. And there's nothing like it. We love doing it. So that's this time of the year. We're going to do it, see if we can get into some blues. Usually you're landing a few sharks at nighttime. And, when you're chunking and all the different techniques that you use at night, you do land a couple of sharks. And that's it, If you want to register or get involved in the Bay Rats and Buoys Fishing Club, you head over to sandcitycharter.com. Click on Fishing Club. It happens to be a nice-looking page, I'm not going to lie. And it's coming along. It really is. And the club is starting to grow, and we got amazing guys that have amazing boats, and they're great fishermen, and the intel is insane. So that's what it's all about for us. It's that camaraderie that, we can't wait for the next meeting. We really can't. It was great to see Frank over here at the fuel dock. Somebody's yelling at me, and I'm on the dock. I'm actually working on the boat with my son. We were getting it ready to go out the next day, and I just wanted to organize stuff and clean up, clean out. You always got to get on your boat and clean out some of the bins, and there happens to be a lot of storage on this boat, so we clean everything out. We keep everything really nice and clean and neat. We know where everything is. And Frank was yelling at me from the fuel dock, and for a second I didn't realize who it was, and then I was like, wait a second, that's Frank on the Robalo, and he's in Huntington, because he comes out of Northport, but it was nice to see. Great to see guys in the club over here getting gas in our area, and that's it, We got to get guys in the club out fishing together now. This is that time of the year where everybody, has their own schedules. They get out, they do it. This is like the crunch time before everybody goes back to school. Kids are in camp. I know my kids got tryouts and all kinds of crazy stuff coming up with ice hockey. And, I had 2 games Monday and Tuesday night last week. This week I have 2 games on one night. So I'm going to go back to back. I'm playing Monday night, and then I'm playing second game Monday night. So I'm excited about that. Let's see if the defibrillator's needed. I don't think so. I think I got this, and I'm excited. So that's what's going on in the life of Captain Gage. What's going on in your life? What's new? Hope everything is good. Hope you get down and enjoy your boat. Get out there. I see a lot of boats in the parking lot is dead right now. There's nobody here. There's like three cars in the parking lot, and one of them works here. So that's it. It's quiet. Get on your boat. Get out there. Make sure you check your boat. You know your boat. Get to know your boat real well. That's the best advice I could give you. Don't be afraid to open all the hatches and look in there and see what the hell's going on. Don't wait till you have a problem to figure out something's wrong. Take a look at it. Do a little preventive maintenance like I do, and you should. And that's it, you know? That is episode 92 in a nutshell. That means we are now, after this one goes up, we are 7 episodes away from the 100th episode. And we're very excited. So, a lot of good things moving forward. First, we got to get on some tuna on the Hydra yacht. We need to get on some tuna. That's first and foremost. So that's right now on our sites. The tubing and all the fun stuff and the water stuff with the kids in our sites. We're doing that in the next few days. So that's where I'll be. If you need to find me, you know where to get me. Head over to sandcitycharter.com. If you want to head out with me and Corey and do some bottom fishing with the family and get out and get some bent rods for the kids, we'll be happy to do so. Head over to sandcitycharter.com, fill out the form, and we will respond. I respond very, 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 very quickly to those forms. So when you fill it out, you'll hear back from me the same day, 100%. I can almost guarantee that. All right? So, wishing everybody bent rods, tight lines, and I look forward to seeing you out here on the water. Captain Gage signing off, over, and out.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. Be sure to visit sandcitycharter.com and follow Captain Gage on all our social media channels.